Para Benedict, viendo un poco las películas de Hollywood que van enfocadas a temáticas reales, para un director es más complejo dirigir una película de esta índole. Lo pregunto por el tema de conseguir documentos que a lo mejor son muy guardados o muy secretos, en este caso con el FBI, o se puede dar la licencia a ese director de incluir dentro de algunas escenas algo ficticio, algo de la fantasía. Básicamente es una responsabilidad mayor para un director, Benedict.
I mean, it's a great question, and also, especially as I said, we're coming from the theatre, where I'm used to working with, great dramatic literature, where the responsibility in truth is to do with the dramatic situation and to do with in going into the complexity and raw humanity of a dramatic text, is to touch an audience and to affect some change in an audience in the event of the theatre. And to make something happen in the theatre. And that's always been my truth. And in my first film, Una, which is from a play, but deals with a very real situation of abuse, but is completely fictional, there was a truth to kind of look at the emotional consequences of someone who had been through that, but it's not a documentary, it has to be specific. This is very tricky in that this is a real life, and as Kristen has said, this is a story that many people do not know aspects of. So I guess for me, I took something that Jean said when she looked back at these years. It was like one long nightmare where she didn't know what the truth was and what the reality was. And we're dealing with portraying something where someone's truth is destroyed. You could almost say that that's what the movie is about, is how a truth can be destroyed and an openness can be destroyed. And we watched that happen kind of in real time, and we watched the decision-making process in the FBI happen. All of the FBI aspects of the story are fictional, in that those characters are created by the writers, but they're created from the real documents that can be found and from research and study of the tactics of COINTELPRO, which was the FBI's counterintelligence program, which was aimed against activists. And the tactics that are used in the movie, whether that is calling a spouse of an activist to say that they're having an affair, or bugging, or the destruction of relationships that we see in the movie, they are real and documented from the tactics of this secret part of the FBI during this period. The documents that Jean reads in the final scene and the letter that the Vince Vaughn character prints, they come from real documents that are available, albeit redacted. Throughout the movie, and also the biography of Jean Seberg, the biographies you can read from this period, they are kind of contradictory. There's also something fictional about her life. Romain Gary wrote a book called Chien Blanc, The White Dog, about this period. Carlos Fuentes wrote the book, Diana, the Goddess Who Hunts Alone, about their affair in Mexico during this period. And all of the biographies are also, they have contradictory facts. So I'm not trying to make a documentary, and you can't. The facts also differ. But we try and weave in some of the few real things we know about Jean. For instance, to Hakim Jamal, she says, it's all the same, isn't it? What's happening in America, the war in Vietnam and the racism in America, it's the same place. We read in a biography a report of Jean saying this to a reporter at a party one night. So we kind of take those things. So in making any movie, there is a lot of condensation for dramatic intensity. All of the stories in this movie, Romain Gary's story, Jean's story, Hakim Jamal's story, Dorothy Jamal's story, all of those things, we see only the tip of the iceberg. They all had fascinating, turbulent, complex lives that we are then trying to distill down into the drama and tension of the movie. And my way to do that was, again, this question of the interlocking lives. So the logic of what the movie wanted to look at was the interlocking of Jack looking at Jean, and Jean being looked at Jack, and their journey together. So you have a responsibility to the life, you have a responsibility to try and find the truth of the life, but in doing that, there is no such thing as a complete story anyway. So you have to decide what to distill down and focus also for the kind of dramatic tension of the story.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias por esta...